Hi guys, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing great. So to start, Vanessa, I'll start with you. It's not like easy to make a rom-com kind of feel spontaneous anymore because we've kind of been with this genre for a really long time. But this movie is so cute in that you kind of think you know what's happening and it doesn't really work that way. And so for you, how is it to kind of dive into this and make it so fresh and new within the kind of confines that exist with a rom-com?
Um, I mean, it's that's quite a tricky question to answer in a way. I think it's about not trying to be like anything else, not trying to kind of like there weren't clear rom-com references that we
Mhm.
took for this. We just sat with the material, really the screenplay, which was amazing, but then also the book became so sort of I have the book with me everywhere I went. It's got marks all the way through it. Um, and letting that inform everything. And I think the other thing that was just so important to me personally was that there was a real balance between the kind of aspirational and the fun and the whimsy and it being kind of grounded and having like genuine kind of heart. I think that kind of like little tug of war was the thing that needed to be wrestled the whole way through. And I suppose I feel like that's perhaps what makes it feel fresh.
Yeah. And I loved it so much. It's such a cute story in general, but I really, really loved this movie. And like Jennifer, obviously, this is your work and it's coming to life in this way. And you get to kind of see these characters you created as they are on screen. So for you, what was the most fun scene to kind of see come to fruition in a movie?
I mean, there were so many there. This book has, I wrote it a long time ago. I've had a lot of years of hearing from readers and fans which parts they loved the most. So when I first sat down to read the script, I was so nervous about, what would be in there and what Katie Lovejoy, the wonderful screenwriter, would have included. And I was so happy to see that some of the bigger, most important moments were in there. To me, I have always loved one of the best parts to me is the quiet moment they have outside the bathrooms on the plane in the middle of the night. That's a moment in the book that I've always loved, and I got chills when I first saw it in the film. It's just so kind of subtly, beautifully done, and it's so romantic, but also it's a really lovely moment. But I also loved, you know, little bits were kind of strewn throughout the whole thing, little pieces of dialogue. And it made me laugh because when I first read the script and saw the movie, I hadn't read the book back in quite a while, and I went back and reread it, and there were so many moments I loved, and I was like, oh wait, that was from the book. I'd forgotten about it and little lines. So I was really pleased with how everybody treated the source material as such an important part of this.
And it's so like I keep saying it's cute and sweet, but it is like I ended up like crying a lot during the Shakespeare thing because I was like, not only is that cool, but also just made me very emotional for whatever reason. And I love kind of how the movie weaves these characters and like little nods to things. Cause like in the beginning, obviously, you have Hadley saying, like, oh, you're going to where Shakespeare lived, and then like marrying that with the Shakespeare party. And it's just so cute, especially when they're like, yeah, go get her Macbeth. I was like, that's not a combination I think I would have ever thought of. But Vanessa, for you, with those more fun moments, like how did you guys kind of approach it? Because like you have someone like Dexter Fletcher, who is a director in his own right as well, and then you have Rob, who's a writer too. Like, how do you guys kind of marry like bringing those big names that we know to life while still like honoring the story that you guys were telling?
Um, yeah, it was so funny working with them. It was so especially Dexter because he's such a big director. He like came to set and was like, "Okay, what do you want me to do, boss?" And I was just like, "Ah." um, they were both just so up for it and game and fun and like funny that didn't kind of get in the way of anything at all. They were just like up for it. But all of those funny moments, I think it's just about
like just really embracing the joy of it. And also Haley Lu is so funny and quirky and it's like playful. So I think there's a lot of playing going on that allowed people to not feel really kind of limited in a way by, I mean, not that anyone sort of went off lines that much, but there was a kind of slightly improvisational quality to some of those fun, quirky moments. Actually, there was a lot because Haley Lu and Ben improv'd a bunch of the lines on the plane as well. That was quite fun. They would just get carried away and go for it, and it would be great. And a lot of that's made it into the cut. Yeah.
And I love it. But it for a last final question, I do have to say, when I was watching those credits and it was just like a woman, a woman, a woman, a woman, and it was just so many women made this movie, it made me very happy. I just kept being like, yeah, ladies, every time a new woman would pop up as like being behind the scenes. Uh for both of you, like how was that experience? Because obviously, Jennifer, you wrote the story, it came to life, but like a lot of women had their hand in it. And so it was just cool to kind of actually see that with a rom-com, because normally that's maybe
Yeah.
not the case.
No, it was very meaningful because, this is even more so in the book than in the movie. This is Hadley's story, and it's the story of a young woman who is really figuring herself out. And, it is on the surface aspirational and about wish fulfillment and fun and cute and sweet, but it does pack a punch too. And it's about very real things that happen over the course of this one kind of very meaningful day. And to have, it was really meant a lot to have a female director, a female screenwriter, and have so many people with their hands in it who would come at this story. The movie is quite a two-hander. It's both their stories, but for me, this has always really been Hadley's story, and to see all these women being a part of telling it, it meant a lot.
And real quick, Vanessa, was that something you wanted to do going in, just like have as many female voices kind of like being part of this story?
I didn't actively go into this with that in mind, but I feel like that with everything, like, yeah, definitely. 100%. And I think it really shifts the tone and the dynamic of making something. Like there's an alignment because women feel differently. I mean, not all the time, but like there's a real thing. I think we all were really aligned on the things that were important to us. All the women were, and the men too.
Yeah, no, I love it so much. Thank you guys. I really loved this movie. I thought it was so cute, and I was like, I can't wait for everyone to get to see it and hopefully watch it every Christmas now because it's just adorable. So thank you guys so much for your time.
I love hearing that. Thank you. Thank you so much.